Hey, this is Dr. Fred Domenico of Elite Coaching. Thanks for clicking on this because we're going to give you 3 powerful communication tools for a perfect day 1, day 2. Now, how did this become the perfect day 1, day 2? Hey, I had 4 coaches, 4 different clinics, spent well over $100,000 easily on coaching. And what they could show me was patient education. What they couldn't tell me was why did one person commit, bring their family, live the lifestyle, and why did another one quit when they were in pain care? And I'm going, I studied their scripts and I'm sitting there thinking, why are these people different? I'm saying the same thing to every person. And then the light bulb went off, right? Did you hear what I just said? That's the problem, because I was saying the same thing to every different person. So I started studying human behavior. It's now been 23 years. Not only did it create the greatest growth of all 15 years in practice, when I did this at 11 years and I finally gave up on chiropractic coaches, started studying human behavior, man, there was an explosion in my practice, and it stayed that way for the next 4 years until I felt the calling that I needed to bring these systems, communication systems, to other doctors so we can make a bigger impact, create more lifestyle mindset patients than ever before. And don't we really need that in the world today? So there's 3 videos. We're going to start with the first one, but before we do that, the first powerful communication tool, I want to set a foundation for all these videos with 3 human behavior principles. The first one is, what's the first one here? It's not what you say, it's what you do. So it's not the words you use, it's what you're actually doing. The 3 powerful communication tools aren't what you say, it's what you're doing with your body. And the last one, using metaphors and analogies, it's what you're doing in your communication. So words have 7% influence. That's all, 7% influence. What you're saying in your patient education is only 7% of whether or not a person commits. Tone is 38%. Body language is 55%. So the highest percentage of learners learn visually, and body language has the highest influence in learning. So that means people are watching what you do. They are not listening to what you say. Have you ever talked to someone, or you're in a report of findings and you're sitting there spewing out all this stuff, and then they object, and then you're chasing objection. You feel like, man, no matter what I say, it doesn't matter. That's right, because it's not what you say, it's what you do. You didn't do the right thing. That shifted their mindset, and that's the problem. So when we look at this, this has taken all these tools. These 3 tools are just a small piece of what we teach in our perfect lifestyle practice, which consists of the perfect day 1, day 2 boot camp and the perfect retention boot camp. Now, we've helped hundreds of doctors with this. I've been teaching this in boot camps for the last 13 years. We've helped hundreds of doctors achieve a high level of success, create more lifestyle patients. In fact, up to and over 90% of all patients moving into a lifestyle mindset and staying with you for years. Now, if you want to be a healthcare provider and have your patients not coming to you for back pain, but coming to you for healthcare, then this is the most powerful system. In fact, it's the highest standard in patient communication in the profession. Okay, what's the second principle? Let me look over here. Let's look at patient education versus patient experience. Information, they have to try to remember. And experience, they can't forget. And that's the way it is. Now, I remember a quick story. I remember lifting in the gym. I had a 45-pound plate. I didn't see the 25-pound plate on the end of it. I pulled it off. Guess where that 25-pound plate landed? Right on my foot. Ask me, that was over 10 years ago, if I've ever done that again. That is an experience, as opposed to someone saying, hey, don't pull that 45-pound plate off with that 25-pound plate there. That's information. Feeling that smash against my foot is an experience that has not happened again. I'm going to knock on wood right here, because that thing hurts. So that's the difference. It's not about the information you give. It's about the experience you create from what you do, not from what you say. So when you create an experience, these 3 communication tools give a patient experience that shifts their mindset, changes their belief systems, accelerates their learning process, and makes it so they can't forget lifestyle. How much easier is that? Okay, what's the third principle? Third principle is physiology rules. This is already in psychology research that when we create an emotion creates a feeling in our nervous system. And that wires not only into our brain, but creates a feeling in our body. And then the experience, which is the feeling in our body, informs our actions. So in other words, what we feel in our body wires into our subconscious mind, and that makes our decisions. And then once it's wired in your subconscious mind, it becomes a subconscious habit. So why is this the perfect day 1, day 2, and the perfect retention system? Because we're going to show you 3 tools on here, how to neuro-emotionally wire people, not so they have to try and remember, but so they can't forget. And we're going to wire that into lifestyle. Okay, so on those 3 principles, let's get started on the first tool. The first communication tool is multiple agreements. Now, there's a law of human behavior. What percentage of the time is a law true? 110% of the time. This is like a human behavior law. It's called commitment and consistency. And what that means is when people agree to something, especially if they move and if they verbalize, then they feel obligated to follow and be responsible for what they agreed with. It's called commitment and consistency. Robert Cialdini put that in his book, Influence. And so here's the thing, gang. We need multiple agreements. So if you're going to have somebody change their life, that's like jumping off the 80-foot cliff all the way down. When they're looking at that 80-foot cliff, they're like, no way, I'm not going to jump that. But if you take them 79 steps down that cliff, the financial, the re-exam, the long-term commitment, the lifestyle mindset is like stepping off a curb. It's 1 step, it's not 80 steps. Multiple agreements change belief systems. Now, for instance, we have a pre-consultation, the perfect pre-consultation. And we teach this in the perfect boot camps. Perfect pre-consultation has 14 agreements. So basically in 3.5 minutes, I have 14 agreements. 2 of those agreements are, can you see, Mrs. Jones, whoever, how your posture affects your overall health? By the time we've gotten all those agreements, we get them to that 1 agreement. Can you see how your posture affects your overall health? Now they're getting into a full spine overall health problem. The second agreement, which is a handful of agreements later, is now can you see how your organs are being affected? So yes, you address their pain, but you're also saying, hey, if you have this, you're in a crisis, and you show them the autonomic nerve chart, see how those nerves and energy organs, can you see how the organs are being affected, even if they don't have symptoms now? So what are we doing? We're transferring the focus from back pain into full spine, into overall health, and that sets you up for the consultation. That's the first 14 agreements. Now, all those agreements, what are you doing? You're pacing and leading. I spent a decade in NLP. You're nodding your head yes, you're getting a verbal agreement, you're prompting a verbal agreement, where for all these agreements you're going, yes, I can see that. When they move and they verbalize, it's wiring into their nervous system, and what are they doing? They are convincing themselves, because physiology rules, it's more important to what you do than what you say. And we're creating an experience, not just giving them information, that is wiring into their brain with consecutive agreements. Then we go to the consultation. We address their pain, and we talk about all the organs. We focus on the organs. Now, when you see our perfect consultation, we're not going to go through it on here, but you can get it. It's easy to get 15 different health problems. In fact, today, people seem to be getting sicker. It's easy to get 20 health problems, but let's say you get 15. So we have a 4-step consultation. So that means we get, on the first step, we get 15. Then we do a review, 15 more. So that's 30 plus 14. How much is that? 44. And we get, and next 2 steps, we get 2 more agreements. We're at 36 agreements. Then you go to the exam. We're looking at posture. We're giving them a physical experience. Now we go over 15 twice. That's 44. Plus another 30 is 74. Plus we have a couple more agreements. You're about 80 agreements in 30 minutes. That is a different person. They have a different belief system. They have a different focus. And so when you follow that, this is why it's perfect. When you just follow this structure, notice what I'm doing right now. And they verbalize 80 times. Yes, I can see that. Wow, I understand. Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, nobody else told me that. Wow, is it, Doc, do you think this is why I have asthma? Blah, 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 all these things. And they're agreeing, and you're actually having an interactive conversation where you're getting 80 agreements. They become different people because they have a different mindset. Now, when you take that story, subluxation story, into day 2, you already have 80 agreements. Now you have the spouse. Then we show you how to get more agreements, how to get agreements on all the organ problems. Again, you're probably at least 20 agreements on the day 2 ROF. So now in 2 days, we're at over 100 agreements. They are different people. It's really amazing. And this is why it's perfect, because it works. This is all based on human behavior. So what are those 3 principles? 3 principles. It's not what you say, it's what you do. Physiology rules, and create a patient experience, not just patient information. When we do that, man, you will watch people shift right in front of you. How cool is that? Okay, hang on for the next video. Love you guys. Peace.